What's going on? Welcome back to Daily Boosted, another episode of painting Warhammer. So we have our battle suits in front of us. So what we done some bases while we had the break. So basically we used some of this stuff, which is a cork tile you can buy. We created the base for our bases, I suppose, but what do you do then? You put some glue. You can use kids PVA glue, because that's what I use because I ran out, or you can use furniture glue, still PVA glue, and essentially cover everything up. And then we got some sand, which is just sand from the beach, put all over it. And basically you can use some of what is this stuff? There's texture paint you can get from Games Workshop. I see you can, I don't know where it is. Oh, here you go. There's a texture paint you can get. It's called Martian Iron Crust, basically. And what you do, you just scoop it out just like this, and then over time it cracks and you get this effect. You can get different basically consistency of it. You can get one with the bigger cracks, smaller cracks. This is, I think, a medium. So this is what it looks like. Basically that's a done painted effect there. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to go through the painting tutorial, how to paint the bases. We're not going to paint the big guy because we're going to do the special on him. We're going to paint him non-stop from the scratch to finish. Once I get his second arm from Chinese John, right? So it's in the mail. I don't know how long it takes to get stuff from China, so hopefully it gets here safely. However, when it's done, we'll paint that. So today we're gonna do bases for these two guys. As you can see, I decided to put them together. Doesn't really matter. All we got left is the battle damage. We're not gonna go to the same extreme as this guy over here. And as you can see, I was mentioning to do a lot more brown. I think brown looks a lot cooler than just plain white. So once you put them together, day and night difference. So I definitely like that look a bit more than that, because only brown we have here is there and a bit of there, but that's good to go. And as you can see, just a silver dry brush, that's what we're going to do for these guys, and they'll be good to go. So yeah, definitely going to use a lot less battle damage on these guys because they are lit, and they obviously don't get hit as much because they OP. Alright, but that's what we're doing bases. Also, once you guys use the glue, put some sand on it, don't touch it, leave it, wait about a few hours, and then literally grab a model, just shake a little bit of sand off it, right? Leave it again for a few hours, and then once the PVA glue is dry, which is about 4 or 5 hours, whatever, you can leave it overnight, doesn't matter. Use your brush and then just go outside and just, you know, brush all the extra sand off. So see, you already got crap on there. Because once you start painting, you don't want to paint over the sand, which is going to fall off later, going to look nasty. So that's what you do. So you need one of those two brushes. Alright guys, so that's done. Let's start painting. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to keep this model here for a reference. I'll just put it to the side here so it doesn't get wrecked. So we can match the base to what we're doing here. So actually probably better off putting it on this side, because, you know, yeah, knows what's gonna happen. Alright, so these guys ready to go. Right, these guys needs to be painted. This is the paints we're using. We're literally black, brown, skull, what was it, skull something, Screaming Skull, I think. So this is the three paints we're using. And once we're done with that, we got some brown wash over here. Yep. Seraphim, yeah, whatever, brown wash. We're gonna use that to wash it, and then once we're done washing it, we're literally gonna dry brush back with the skull, right? We're not using white because white is the main color for the suits, and that's pretty much the go. And do not be afraid to airbrush, because the bottom of the feet are black anyway. You just gotta be careful when you get close to it. Alright, let's do it. If you guys haven't seen my previous videos, check them out. However, This is the black primer I use, so we're gonna prime the bases right now with my airbrush. Welcome to our $40 setup of Chinese airbrushing, so we are good to go. Shake and bake. We're not actually using black, but you can use that instead if you don't have a primer, I suppose. You could probably just dry brush everything on, or wash. If you don't have an airbrush, you can just use washers. Maybe we'll try it one day. I can't remember if I cleaned that from last time I used it, but ooh, clogging up a little bit. That's all right. Alright, let's see how we go. Ooh, sprays pretty hard. Yep, perfect. So as you can see, this is the stuff. I was using the icicle pop stick to put that stuff on. Very handy. Works every single time. Let's do this guy first, I suppose. Alright guys, so obviously when you airbrushing on the surfaces like that, there's a lot of volume in them, a lot of different surfaces from different angles. Sometimes you can't just get airbrush to the certain spots, so do your best, then grab one of the brushes and just, you know, put some black on it. Right, let's start with this guy. And when you see some areas where you didn't get it or couldn't get it, just get into it and just, you know, go to town. Doesn't matter if you put too much, it's all just rough surface anyway. Just get in there and put that black into it, just to fix up all the spots you missed or you couldn't get, just like that. This is done. We don't have to be perfect because there's gonna be multiple layers. Most of it is black, you can barely see stuff through it. There's maybe a little bit of stuff coming through here, but it's mainly red, which doesn't matter. It's all gonna get covered under the wash anyway, so it's mainly gonna be dark. You don't have to use brown wash. You can use black wash as well if you want to make it a little bit darker, not as hot, like not as warm color as brown. Just make it just black, more neutral, to pop the model more, but I usually use my brown wash. But this is done. That was pretty quick and easy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly wash my airbrush. I did notice that a lot of people have a bucket and I just wash it inside the room. Because I have a carpet in the room, I don't really want to have a bucket with water in here just in case it gets tipped, especially having a kid running around. So I usually go and use the sink just to wash my airbrush. Just, you know, I don't feel comfortable having all this water sitting here, but you can, guys, if you know, have tiles or whatever and you feel comfortable having the bucket of water just sitting in your room, go for it. You can wash it with the bucket of water. It's probably quicker and easier, but I'd rather spend like extra few seconds just to walk to the sink. All right, sweet. Let's go to the next step. We're gonna clean the airbrush, change the water because I didn't change that since last time I painted. We're gonna use this brown and we're gonna do some more airbrushing onto that, and we probably should be using the mask, so totally forgot about it at the start, but I'll put it on now, so we are good to go. Okay, so brown, if you guys can see, I try to keep a little bit of black and don't go brown everywhere. So what we'll do, we'll try to still have a little bit of black coming through just to keep that contrast between lighter and darker color. If it's all light color, it's gonna lose the effect and depth of the actual base. So we're just gonna grab brown and go over like maybe 70 to 80% of all the color, not including the ring. So the ring stays black, and then we can obviously go back and fix, we'll probably fix this one as well. We'll grab black paint and just spray around this as well, because it looks a bit dull and it's, you know, peeling a little bit. So we'll fix that one as well while we're doing that. So let's do so. Once again, if it's your first video, we're gonna use our medium, and just chuck a couple of drops in there, and then mix in the brown paint. We can go a little bit more watery because it's all gonna get washed, and it doesn't matter if it spits a little bit. So this is completely different, more forgiving airbrushing techniques. So once again, brush. That was good. Just get that paint in there. So brown is done. We put a bit more brown on this, but if you look through different angles, you can see black coming through anyway. So there's still a lot of stuff not brown, and still got a lot of depth to it. But obviously, because it's got a bit more brown on it, we're gonna put a lot less of lighter beige color, which is right here. So we're gonna go absolutely minimum on that. So whereas this one, it's got more depth to the base because of the actual building. So what we did is we sprayed the first half of the building from this side, creating contrast here, and then we sprayed from this side, creating contrast here. So you can see black and brown coming through. So, and then also we did raised areas, and that can stay black inside, doesn't matter. Alright, here we go. Brown is down. I'm gonna go wash airbrush, and then off we go to this one. As you can see, once we put the brown wash on it, essentially this color becomes brown anyway. So not gonna go too much on it. We just want to create that lighter look. So let's mix it up. Airbrush is good to go. The mask is on. Put some thinner in. That'll probably look too much, but that'll do. Get our brush. Actually, that needs a good shake. I don't think that's actually good to go. No, that's wrecked. There's another one here. Alright, so we just want to go for the raised areas, and we gotta be really careful where we put it. Alright guys, here we go. As you can see, there's a bit more lighter color on here because there's a lot of darker color before that. And then obviously there's a bit less on here, so you can still see a lot of brown coming through. Doesn't matter that you spray on the feet, they're supposed to be brown anyway. That's the best part about this model. Also, if you got different color a suit or model, and when you do the bases and you spray it brown, it's just gonna look like it's dirty feet. So do not stress. It's all good to go. What we're gonna do next, we're gonna use our final step for airbrush is the wash, which is our brown wash. We're not gonna thin it or nothing. We're just gonna spray it as it is, and yeah, let's go and wash our airbrush and do the final step before we dry brush. So between previous steps and this step, you don't have to wait for anything to dry. You can just keep spraying. It doesn't matter. It's all just gonna mix together, and you know, it's gonna be all really good. However, when after this step, we're gonna stop for a little bit and maybe wait an hour to wait for the wash to dry before we start dry brushing, just because we want to make sure everything is good to go. So that's it, that's ready. Literally just pour the wash into it. Put the model further away just so you don't splash it. Better be safe than sorry. And just start applying the wash, just like that. Alright guys, so I got washes over here. I was kind of looking at this, and this is a bit more yellowish. So the easiest way to check, grab some toilet paper, a clean brush. So this is the same. These two are the same wash, I believe. Yep. Or maybe not. So we'll just try some of this brown. Okay, so this is more brown. So this is a different, this is a wash we just used. So as you can see, it's not as dark as this one. So too easy, no stress. What we'll do, we don't have much of this wash left, but what we'll do, pour it in because it's darker, and we'll just use that instead, just over it. See, that's a lot more darker. I like that a bit more than yellow. Yellow just doesn't look as good. So easy fix. Just literally spray over it. You can let it cool as much as you want. Does not matter at all. So there you go. That one's done. And see, that's instantly got a lot darker than the other one. You can always apply a second coat if you want to. So here's our second model. See how it's closer to that. However, it's not as dark, so maybe we'll put a little bit more wash onto it just to finish it off. Just a little bit. I'm gonna have to get one more of those. Alright, sweet. So this is done. There's a fair bit of pooling around this area here. You can collect that if you want. Just a little bit. And then rest should be fine. Maybe around the dark areas too. Doesn't matter. Like that. That's it. Let's wait. Once it's dry, we're gonna get back, dry brush, fix up the black on the edges. All of that can be collected if you want, because it's all gonna be black anyway. There's no point having paint sitting there. Here we go. As you can see so far for the whole entire process, there's not much sand flying off everywhere and getting wrecked, just because we used that toothbrush. Alright, we'll be back shortly once it's all dry. So happy times, all our wash is dry. As you can see, really similar. This one got a little bit more orange, just because of that previous wash we did, but everything looks really good. So all we do now is get some fresh toilet paper, and we're gonna start dry brushing with our highlight. So shake it up. We can use reasonably big brush, however I'll use this one just because we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to dry brush too much because it will take away the contrast, I suppose. So let's get the light and start going over it. Here we go, just like that. Oh no, almost spilled some. Here we go. This is done. Dry brushing's done. Pretty happy with the way it looks. Pretty much exactly the same effect as over there. However, we got one more thing. So we got our airbrush, and we're gonna fix up that black. So I can't be bothered mixing black, so I'll just use a primer. So put a little bit in there, spray through. We'll fix the big guy first. Alright guys, so black is done. Easy as that. You can go a bit more, a bit less, it does not matter. I went a bit less this time than last time. All we got left is some grass. Pretty straightforward. Some glue, some grass, just here. This is the most expensive stuff in the Games Workshop. Don't know why, but it is. So now what we're gonna do, basically this is your opportunity to fix little things you don't like. For example, if you think there's too much color just here, if you think the dry brushing didn't work out, all you do, you put a little bit of glue on it. So you can do two options. You can either put it straight on it. I usually don't do that. What I do, I have a container, stuff goes in the container, just squeeze it out, give it everything I got. So that's done. What I do, I have this brush here which is wrecked. I think it's this one because this is the hottest one, so we did use that for glue. So all we do, whatever we don't like, we'll cover up with glue. And I don't usually put glue straight onto the model. I use brush. This way you can pick and have a bit more control over it. Yeah, so if you can see, all the raised areas got a little bit of grass in it. All the low areas are desert, essentially. It doesn't have any grass growing. Yep, so once you're happy with that, grab the container. This one got a little bit of sand and grass. Chuck your model in there and literally sprinkle the glass on it. So pinch, sprinkle. So you can essentially shake a little bit of grass off. See how you're doing. If you want to put more grass somewhere, you can put more glue and put more grass. You know, whatever. This is essentially the stuff you're going for. You can essentially redo this process more than once as well. So you don't have to just do it once. You can keep building the grass up. So we just put a little bit of grass just because we can for that different color. So add a little bit of green. That one is done. Check that here. Once it dries out, we use airbrush to blow all the grass we don't want off it. And then now we do this guy. Alright, I think that will do. And then same thing, put that to the side. We'll clean the brush just in a sec. Put the model in one of the containers. Make sure your fingers don't have any glue on it. And go to town. Alright, here we go. Obviously we got a little bit of grass left on it, but what we'll do, we'll come back later and just, whoop, what did we get? Here we go. Need bigger desk. Obviously we'll come back later and just use an airbrush to get rid of the rest of this grass. So that's done. And here we go. Happy days. We done our bases. Pretty happy with it. Pretty quick process, pretty straightforward. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like it. I will be finishing the models or tower suits with all the other painting, so you can subscribe and you can see the future progress. And yeah, bases are done, and very happy with it. I think it looks pretty OP, and it'll look even better on the table with some terrain. So I'll see you next time, guys.